So because I hate myself, I decided to do a solo run of Pokemon Red with an unevolved Pigmonkey. In this run, I won't be using items during battle as an extra handicap, not that I think it's going to make a huge difference because of how faulty the AI is in Pokemon Red and Blue, but because I'm a man and I don't need no items during battles. So when we start off, I Game Shark a Mankey in as my starter Pokemon, and to my surprise, Mankey actually starts with Karate Chop at level 5. And to my disappointment, Karate Chop is a normal move in Generation 1, probably for the same reason that the only Dragon moves and Ghost moves that are any good have set damage. So the battle with Rival, the first one, is not much of a challenge at all. He just goes down in a second. Karate Chop works great, it's still an above average move. After that, we head to Viridian City, grind up just a little bit, and break his neck one more time, without any trouble at all. We go through Viridian Forest without any trouble, but upon arrival inside Pewter City, I am forced to grind till almost level 20, due to the type advantage Brock has against me, and the fact that Mankey can't actually learn anything except normal moves. So he has a type advantage and high defense, and I'm using a physical Pokemon. Luckily, the speed difference is so great that almost every single one of my attacks is a critical hit against him. The bad news is his defense is so high it almost doesn't matter. Even after using Leer on Brock's Onix almost 6 times, Karate Chop would still only take about a quarter of its health. So it was just a grind to see how much damage I could do versus how many times he would use Bite or Tackle on me. Since I'm not using items during battle, I couldn't just scum potions through the whole time. But I make my way through eventually. Making our way to Cerulean City, I go through Mount Moon. We aren't met with much resistance inside here, but rock Pokemon still suck to fight against just because I only have a mono-normal moveset. There's tedium hammering away at them, especially Onix, over and over again. I feel like someone named Kyle punching through drywall. But things are going fine overall. Upon arrival in Cerulean City, we make quick work of our rival again, go through the Nugget Bridge, and I actually catch my first death against a Slowpoke who gets me with Confusion. The stab plus the weakness and my low special stat are a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. But going through the Nugget Bridge the second time, I didn't have any trouble. We make quick work of Misty as well, and then gain the TM for Dig, so now we finally have a move that isn't the normal type, which will come with a great advantage, especially against the Lieutenant Surge. When I arrive in Vermilion City, I skip just about every trainer on the SS Anne and dunk our rival one more time. Then I get the Cut HM, and of course I have to go catch a Pokemon that can actually learn Cut, so I can get into the gym. We make our way into the Vermilion Gym, and, well, make quick work of the trainers. Get past the puzzle, and Lieutenant Surge is almost no challenge at all. I probably could have beat him without Dig, as a matter of fact. But we obtain the TM for Thunderbolt, our next awesome move for Jackie Chun. Our little Pigmonkey is eating thunder, crapping lightning, and karate chopping boulders in half. He even digs a hole for his victims afterwards to bury him in. Best Pigmonkey ever, am I right? After finishing off Lieutenant Surge, we make our way to Celadon City through the Rock Tunnel. We're met with little resistance, especially since we have the move Dig now, which takes out any hikers that might give us trouble, and Thunderbolt stops any Slowpokes, the most common psychic Pokemon they use in this area of the game. It was a little tedious going through Rock Tunnel without Flash, but I didn't want to take the time to catch Pokemon and go get the HM just so I could see inside a tunnel I can already kind of see in. This is actually my first challenge run, and I'm honestly seeing a lot less resistance than I thought I would see using a Pokemon like Mankey as my only Pokemon. But at this point, I have actually seen my greatest threat. My inability to press B to keep Mankey from evolving while fast-forwarding. And this happened to me a lot. I had to soft reset at least 3 times while going through the rock tunnel, and it was very frustrating. So I guess at the end of the day, my greatest enemy is actually myself. Upon arrival in Celadon City, I get the free Eevee and give it a Water Stone so that we can teach it Surf later in the game. And I pick up a few HMs from the department store before going into the Celadon gym. Alright, just one quick second, I want you to stop what you're doing, and I want you to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. I'd appreciate it very much. Well, in the Celadon gym, I actually pick up another move, Thrash. It's a really good destructive move for Mankey, but it's not one I think I'm going to be keeping for the entire playthrough because it makes you confused at the end of it, but it's good for taking out trainers of 3 or less Pokemon. In my battle against Erica, I actually do pick up a couple losses just due to sleep status, and since I'm not using items during the battle. It takes me a couple tries, but I eventually do make my way through her. The Rocket hideout in Celadon City has basically no resistance at all. I spanked every single Team Rocket member and Giovanni in their there, almost no trouble at all. After that, we head to the Lavender Town Pokemon Tower, and we face our rival again, and once again, he is spanked by the Mankey with no trouble at all. I was a little worried about the ghost Pokemon inside the tower, just because of special stat, but luckily they don't have any good moves to really fight me. I was paralyzed a few times and had to go back down to the Pokemon Center, but other than that, I made my way through the Pokemon Tower without any problems at all. After that, it was time to head to Fuchsia City, and we did a long stretch of the game where not a whole lot happened. I just ended up taking out a lot of trainers and making my way down through the routes. I choose not to use the bike path, of course. Once again though, my greatest enemy did prove to be soft resetting because I wasn't paying enough attention while mashing A through all the trainers. That is a running trend through most of these trainers. I go into the battle, and I mash A really fast while using fast forward on VBA. When Jackie Chun is about to evolve, it doesn't always register the B button when it's fast forwarded, so that's where I make my misses, unfortunately. It's really easy to happen, especially when you're going at about 50 times speed. In Koga's gym, I randomly catch a loss from a trainer with a Hypno that gets a lucky shot on me with confusion. Other than that, I'm met with no resistance once again, big surprise, against Koga just because I have Dig and all of his Pokemon are poison, so I spank them all quick. After that, I realize that I don't have the HM for Fly because I forgot to pick it up in Celadon, so I decide to go along the route less traveled and go through the Seafoam Islands to Cinnabar Island. In the Seafoam Islands, I decide to teach Jackie Strength and override Thrash with it, since I think it would be a more solid move long term, and because I want to move the boulders around and didn't have the Pokeballs to actually get a Pokemon with Strength while I was in the Seafoam Islands. Against Articuno, it gets one lucky shot against us with Ice Beam in my first bout with it, but in my second one I managed to finish it off. After that, we sail west and arrive in Cinnabar Island. Cinnabar Island is just easy taking. All of the trainers there are destroyed because Jackie is so over-leveled at this point. Despite some of them having evolved Pokemon, it just doesn't really matter. Blaine is always easy, so this was obviously no challenge. After him, we make our way to Saffron City. We spank everyone inside the dojo to show them who the real fighting Pokemon boss is. Soft reset a few times in Silphco because I'm a dunce, eventually defeat Giovanni without any trouble at all, and then we make our way to Sabrina. I had some worries about Sabrina's Pokemon because she has an Alakazam with Psychic, but I shouldn't have been worrying at all because just from all the experience gained from the trainers I've fought throughout the region, I managed to one-shot just about all of her Pokemon without any trouble. After this, we have 7 badges, so we make our way to Viridian City and fight Giovanni inside his gym once again. Once again, we're met with almost no resistance. Dig takes out any of his poison Pokemon, and Strength kills just about everything else. If I can't use those two things, I just use Thunderbolt. If not those things, I use Seismic Toss. After that, we go and face our rival once again before heading to the Indigo Plateau. And here, one of my fears did come to light. His Alakazam could one-shot Jackie without any trouble at all. So I had to go up against it enough times where it didn't use Psychic on me, and I could KO it without any kind of trouble. This is going to be the biggest challenge going through this run, is it being against the Elite Four and coming up against our rival with Alakazam, or anything that knows the move Psychic, because it just seems to be our kryptonite. But I'm not too worried, thankfully, because Gen 1's AI is crap. It's just going to be a numbers game of how many times do I have to try before I win. While making our way through Victory Road, I noticed that the evolution Pokemon with higher levels were starting to creep up on us a little bit. I wasn't one-shotting everything, and I was taking some damage, so I was a little bit worried about how we'd be facing against the Elite Four, but not too worried. Once we reached the Indigo Plateau, I decided to go round out the legendary bird trio by destroying Moltres and Zapdos. But first I went and got Rock Slide from Celadon City to teach to Jackie. And of course I went and just one-shotted both Moltres and Zapdos with Rock Slide. No trouble at all. And after that, I prepped up, bought a few full restores for in between battles, and it was time to play against the Elite Four. The Elite Four did pose some challenges. Against Lorelei, Thunderbolt was very effective, however on occasion I'd get hit with a freeze status or something, which would just end the entire battle for me. Against Bruno, he used X Defends, so Machamp was able to overpower me in those situations whenever he did use those. Agatha, I had not much trouble with. I would just get hit with the Confuse Ray from her Golbat, and poor old Jackie Chun decided to commit seppuku whenever that happened because he'd punch himself in the face about 3 times if I got hit by a Confuse Ray. After them, it took a few tries, but I made my way to Lance. Against Lance, his Gyarados was no contest at all against Thunderbolt, which is half the reason I even had the move in the first place for that particular battle. His Dragonairs were strong, but strength took them down. The Pokemon that gave me the greatest resistance was Aerodactyl due to its extreme speed. I couldn't beat it in speed, and it would always use Supersonic. After a few tries, I did eventually get past that, with just a sliver of health. Against this Dragonite, I got Gen 1 lucky, and it just used Barrier and other Psychic status type moves over and over again till I killed it, so I basically stole that win. Now with the Elite Four out of the way, we're up against our final challenge, and definitely the hardest battle in the game, our rival. In his team, the only Pokemon that actually gave me any kind of trouble were his Exeggutor, his Alakazam, obviously, and Blastoise a little bit. Exeggutor would use a type move on us, like Sleep Powder or whatever, and just, it would draw out the match and I'd lose too much HP, and that would just be it. I had to wait until his Sleep Powder failed enough times in a row for me to actually beat through Exeggutor with full HP. After that, against Alakazam, I would basically lose all of my health if I got hit with a Psychic, so I just had to play around it and hope he didn't use it. If those two things happened in a row, I'd come up against Blastoise, and if I had full health, I'd basically win unless I got hit with a Blizzard and got frozen. Eventually, like I said before, it's just a numbers game, all those things lined up enough, and I managed to beat Rival. At just level 75, I think, or 70, whatever. It wasn't too difficult, actually. This whole run went a lot smoother than I thought, so I decided I'd take on one last challenge. After Rival, I decided to go take on Mewtwo, and it went exactly how you think it did. Yeah, pretty much. One-shotted no matter what, unless he just used Reflect every single time, so soft resets until that happened. Oh, and by the way, in my first win against Rival, I accidentally let Jackie evolve again because I didn't press B in time, so I had to play against him again. Fun times. But anyways, that was my run in Pokemon Red and Blue with just a Mankey. I subjugated the entire Kanto region with a little midget pig monkey, and we ran around punching people to death and karate chopping things and farting thunder on stuff. If you liked this video, I want you to thumbs it up. I want you to subscribe if you made it this far. And if you have any ideas for challenge runs for older Pokemon games, be sure to post them in the comments below, or just anything else you might be thinking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all another time.